When offered a life-changing amount of money, will this new Batman from a darker world sell out his morals and ideals? If it could mean taking Batman to the next level, well, let's hop into the pages of Absolute Batman issue number 5 and find out the answer to this and other questions together, shall we? Alrighty then, so this issue opens up with yet another flashback, this time to young Bruce not long after the zoo mass shooting. It seems that he had to get a bunch of rabies shots that were administered to him by none other than familiar face making her absolute debut, Dr. Leslie Tompkins. I kind of love the idea that this lady is a friend and confidant of Bruce and the Wayne family, no matter the universe. Now, back in the present, Batman is riding his tricked-out motorcycle up and down the city streets, almost as if he is trying to goad the party animals into breaking the peace and picking a fight with him. Again, you'll remember at the end of the previous issue, Black Mask had actually made Batman an insane offer, $200 million, to take his Batman project to the next level, and all he would need to do is stand down and allow Black Mask and the party animals to have their way with the city. Agent Alfred has actually been watching this whole exchange from afar, and he thinks he already knows what Bruce is going to do. He's going to take the money. And why shouldn't he? The world is broken and corrupt, unfixable. It took Agent Alfred a lifetime to learn these lessons, but Batman is a lot like him, and it looks like he's learning much faster. But where exactly will the meeting go down, and where will Roman Sionis hand over the money? Well, for this, we're treated to yet another flashback, this time to the actual funeral of Thomas Wayne. Jim Gordon takes a moment to talk to Bruce and say just how brave he thought his father was. A lot of people play tough, but Thomas actually was. He did the right thing when it mattered. And if it's any solace to Bruce, he hopes the kid understands that they're going to actually be knocking the zoo down, replacing it with something practical, only Bruce, even at that age, says he doesn't want something practical. He wants something shiny, something inspiring, something that would make the people of Gotham look up. It was because of that they ended up making the Zoo Massacre Memorial Light. They had actually name-dropped it in the previous issue, but it really ends up playing a major, pivotal part here in this issue as Batman has chosen to have his big meeting with Black Mask in the shadow of the memorial for all those who died that day at the zoo, including his own father. It's for all those reasons and more, you probably guessed what ends up happening next. Black Mask shows up in a helicopter with his entourage of weird squid-headed people who still haven't been explained. He waxes villainously a little bit how this is so much better and easier for Batman to just take the money, and how he's already transferred the digital routing information to Bruce that morning, and that this meeting is really more of a symbolic gesture. Only here's the thing though, Batman's already spent some of that $200 million. What did he buy? Cars, caves, computers? No, he decided to take the money and sent a message. He made a giant bat-shaped effigy out of the money and placed it on the memorial light, before eventually choosing to activate it himself. Again, this universe's first use of the bat symbol. And the answer couldn't be louder or clearer to Black Mask or anyone else. Bruce doesn't need his money. He doesn't need anything because he already has what he's always been looking for. He has Batman, and Batman is going to make all the difference. A pretty noble gesture to be sure, but Black Mask isn't stupid. He pretty much assumed something like this would probably happen, and because of that, not only does he have an army of goons waiting in the wings, but also several snipers on the other rooftops, ready to take aim at Batman and punish him for his insolence. Hell, even that goon who got his hand cut off a couple issues back makes a return, only to get impaled on Batman's smart cape. Because some goons just never learn, am I right? Batman fights valiantly against this insurmountable force, but ultimately he ends up getting overrun, not helped the least at which by the fact that Alfred chose not to get involved even though he could have. But the old spy was just so absolutely sickened by this act of backbone showing that Bruce is doing right now. And once Black Mask has this wannabe hero at his mercy, he really ends up going to town on him. He shoots him, stabs him with his own knife, sets him on fire, before eventually stealing the axe off his chest and kicking him off the top of that building. Bruce tries to say that he has Black Mask exactly where he wants him, that he's rigged him for sound, and that the whole city will hear about his evil villainous plot. Only for Black Mask to completely turn the tables on Bruce by saying, "Oh, you poor ignorant little bastard, do you not know what world you're in? So people know about my plans. Do you think that's gonna make any difference at all? How do you think I've managed to get away with all of this up until now?" Batman Batman just narrowly manages to survive his fall by once again activating his smart cape. He ends up getting cornered by a member of the GCPD, who we ultimately learn is none other than Barbara Gordon. At first, Officer Barbara tries to apprehend Batman and even threatens to shoot him, but eventually realizes that he's one of the good guys and opts to let him go. It's after that things truly end up spiraling out of control as Black Mask decides to take this opportunity to, and in classic Batman fashion, I might add, address the entire city. And I gotta say, he cuts one of the coldest, one of the darkest, and maybe most disturbing villainous monologues I've read in a very long time.
A little about me. I grew up on a pig farm. Humble beginnings, I know. One of my jobs on our farm was to kill the pigs when the time came. I used those captive bolt pistols, 5-inch pin right in the head. Most of the times it was just thunk down. Well, once in a while, on a rare occasion, the pig would have this spasm, not of pain, but of joy. It was wild. It let out this moan and shiver, and it even smile with blood spurting from its head. I learned later that only happened if the pin got deep enough to hit this tiny little spot in the brain called the hedonistic hub, and that only occurred if the pig didn't tense up when the pin hit, but it just relaxed and accepted it. If the pig did, the hub would literally flood with the last bit of its brain with total unchecked pleasure. This split second of ecstasy only came with the acceptance of death, which brings me to now this moment, because come on, we all feel it. The big bad guys, they killed this world a long time ago. And yet they keep us all slaving away with the promise it's all still alive. I mean, admit it, you can barely pay your bills while their money makes money. You drag recycling to the curb while they ride in private jets that tear the sky apart. You struggle to hold this system together that does nothing for you, doing the right thing so they could do the wrong one. Why, I ask? Because all those ideals, all those dreams you're toiling for, they're dead. Progress is dead. History is dead. Truth is dead. So how about we all just admit it's dead and relax so the pin can hit that sweet little spot. Let's all live in that one split second of ecstasy. Feast on the giant scraps.
So yeah, that's why this Black Mask is such a mega hedonist. That's why his group is called the Party Animals. And as the comic comes to a close, they ready for the biggest party yet. You see, Batman might very well have turned down Black Mask's cash offer. So now he's deciding to make the offer to the entire city by setting up guns and party animal masks at every street corner. And with Batman so badly hurt, it looks like the only thing standing between the party animals and the total destruction of Gotham City right now is Mayor Gordon and Martha. And so that was Absolute Batman issue number 5, everybody, and if you couldn't already tell, I thought Scott Snyder and company managed to deliver another real tour de force issue here. I mean, we all pretty much knew that Batman was never going to take Roman Sionis' bride, but hey, this was a darker, more dour, more twisted world, so the idea that they could make you think for a second he might made for some really damn good drama. Also, I don't want to pat myself on the back too hard, but I totally called that the whole Zoo Memorial light thing would eventually end up becoming the bat symbol. And I gotta say, I do love the thematic connection that Batman now has to one of the worst days of his life and his father's death, but the signal was his idea even as a kid to try and inspire in dark times. This also might really end up going down as one of the best, most interesting, most terrifying versions of Black Mask we've ever gotten in any universe, and I mean, hey, I basically just read his entire speech verbatim. In a way, they really do set him up as this perfect antithesis to Batman. The world sucks, everything is going to hell, don't care about anything, just party and live in non-stop hedonism. Well, Batman transversely knows everything is terrible and yet is desperately trying to change it. In fact, so is he and Gordon and his mother for that matter. Overall, I think I'd feel comfortable giving this one another 9 out of 10. Absolute DC continues to move from success to success, and I hope they keep doing so. Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest. That's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow and, help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.